all. This is 012 Boku, and
This is your friendly neighborhood jackass.
yeah, and we're coming at you with another review of, well, the continuation of what I did for my short review. 24 Season 1, hour 7 through 8 a.m. And basically with this one, quite a bit happened. It was all pretty much straightforward, but let's see. As we know, we do the what we liked in our favorite scenes, and I have to say, with this one, there were a whole bunch of alternating factors within the same scene because this is where all the roads are coming together. Like, I like how in this one, for instance, Nina and Tony, after he did some probing, when Nina got back and learned that Jamie was starting to lie about things, because Ira Gaines got to Jamie at some point and said, Nina Myers is dead, create a cover story. Jamie boarded out to Tony the wrong thing. Tony wants to know what's going on. Nina figured it out, so they know Jamie's a possible spy, and they set up a whole thing to get her, which that whole thing was great, trying to know that their cameras were bugged, putting it on a 20-second feed to make sure. I mean, they don't know it's Ira Gaines yet, but they're obviously onto the fact that their headquarters is being watched, so they put the cameras on a 20-second feed. Tony false feeds some information to Jamie, and then she tries to tell Gaines. Tony and Nina both use the feed to basically put Jamie, I would basically say, under house arrest, is what they did, because she's not fully arrested yet, but they used information to coerce her. Jamie is somewhat cooperating, but as you know, she wants legal counsel. Oh, the things we try to do when we hide behind the cracks in the justice system, unfortunately. So,
And what I loved was how she was doing it. Like, she had one of those little Nokia phones that she had like on her own like burner phone.
I think it was one of those early Palm Pilot phone combos when they started doing those.
Okay, yeah, but she was going into like the ladies' restroom and waiting until she was in the stall because she knew they weren't allowed to have the cameras go directly. Well, allegedly not allowed to have the cameras feed directly into the stalls when they're doing their business. So even if like the cameras could like watch while they were like washing their hands, you can't have it like when they're in the stall. So she would wait. So she would like make an excuse to go to the ladies' room, go into the stall, do her communication with him on the private phone, which was off company records, and then they could communicate inside. And I love how when Nina came back, and again, like just like Jack told her, don't tell anybody you're there. Like, she goes to Tony and she tells him, no, don't tell anyone I'm still alive. They come up with like they feed her false information. And then they use that because I guess Nina must have known it's like the only way she would be communicating with someone in here without no one knowing about it would be, to use it to take a powder.
And it was pretty clever too that you brought that up as well, because Tony falsified that they had found the original key card and were trying to get it back to Milo. So that was a very clever cover story both Nina and Tony created, to which as well, to continue on with
it was doubly great for two reasons. Like, number one, that would be the most obvious piece of misinformation given how Jack was acting, and number two, even if that plan fell through, just saying that we found the real key card would tip off the tech guy. It's like, and it did. He's like, I knew it couldn't have been the real key card. It was way too easy. So even if like their normal plan hadn't succeeded, they would have him as a backup, trying to look into what happened.
Yep. And to that same point, you can say with the next scene you have Terry, who at the end of the last episode, she was already brought into Ira Gaines' compound, but she's there, and they use her to keep getting Jack to do what he needs to do, because Jack is still hesitating. He gets a briefcase for some rando on the street who knows his name, hands him a briefcase, and then, Jack is questioning, well, what's in it? What do you want me to do with it? And then Ira Gaines puts Terry on the line. Terry, is trying to do the motherly and strong thing, saying, Jack, I'm here. I don't know where Kim is, but, that's all Jack needed to do the job. Gaines knew it. And, Terry and Kim actually get together, where there's some nice heartfelt moments, which I also loved and enjoyed. But at the same time, what I also loved throughout that part is that Kim, is just trying to like think on things and reflect while Terry is doing that as well, but she's trying to see if there's a way out of it because I think in the back of Terry's mind, even though she didn't hear it yet, she knew something was going to happen. And there's actually a part where Rick comes in, tries to get Terry and Kim some food. Terry's upset with Rick, knowing that he was a part of this and got her daughter in danger. All of a sudden, Eli comes in. Eli is giving this weird, lewd look to Terry and both Kim, considering, Rick made up a story that he was trying to rape her. And what happened is that, nothing happens then, but Eli's like, don't get too comfortable with them. They're not going to be around much longer. And, Rick's like, what do you mean? And Terry knows what that means. Even though she's never been involved with this stuff anymore, she knows what it means. And she's trying to console Kim and know that she loves her and all these different things. And what's sad about it is up to the point to where, and not really ruining anything, Jack finds a way to save Palmer. Gaines isn't happy about this because he's like, well, the plan screwed up, kill them both. And man, that whole scene as they're being marched out to this big grave that would fit both bodies in it. Terry does what she can by fighting back, which I love. She does what she can, but the two guys, Eli and Neil, overpower her as you would expect. And, just the whole tension of waiting to see should Gaines kill him yet, should they not? Because Jamie calls Gaines and say that the Department of Defense found out about Jack and they arrested him, and Gaines is just sitting there thinking. And I'll add to that when we get there at the end, because with Jack, he gets to the breakfast, and this is what I ultimately liked about the episode, gets to the breakfast, Palmer's dealing with everything with his son and stuff. Little side note with Palmer stuff, the family didn't show. Keith didn't want to spend his last hour of freedom, as he said, with his father. Nicole went to go pick up her friends, and it was just Sherry Palmer and David Palmer, so it did not all go to plan. As his chief of staff, Mike Novick, said, that's who you need to have on your side. So the family is split at this point, as a side note there. Although, when we get to the breakfast, you have Jonathan Metijevic, as parading around and disguised as Martin Belkin. He gets in. Jared pulled this up. He gets in as a photographer. Quick little checks. He goes right on through. Jack gets there. Huge checking of his briefcase and everything that was in it.
Yeah.
There's a, old style 2001 laptop in there that they click the buttons on, check underneath. They, scan his gun. They do all the funny thing. And, maybe that was done for a fact, or maybe that's because, I know when they did the show, 2001 had not happened yet, so maybe that's why everything was lax still, but, it was like...
Well, I'd like to think that wasn't as much of an accident, because let's be honest, the Obamas really loved photo opportunities.
Yeah. They found underneath it was all... Well, underneath it and in the laptop itself were all the casing and components for... this modified Walther that fit in there that yep. Jack goes to a medical station. Jonathan
kind of looks similar to, like, if you remember the 1980s Transformers Megatron gun, the one that looked like a Walther with a stock that you could attach to it in a scope. That's what it looked like, and I know.
Yeah, and it's like, with all those things, Jonathan builds the gun, gets it set up. He also has this gel on his fingers to keep his prints off the gun, so they're not on there. And
he forces Jack to assemble it, so yep. his prints will be on the gun.
And Jack realizes he knows what they're going to do. They're going to try to frame him for assassinating Palmer, and then as everything goes forward. At this point, Tony and Nina are trying to do their duty. Nina doesn't want to do it, but Tony's like, hey, we may be Jack's friends, but we have a duty to not only try to help Jack find his family, but our main thing is to protect Palmer. We gotta let Secret Service and, the Department of Defense know. So they make a phone call. The head of Secret Service, Aaron Pierce, gets the go-ahead, and they tell him and Tony tells him what's going on. So they put out an APB on Jack at the thing, or what at least he looks like. And one of the guys, Hayes, saw him go into that medical station, but he wasn't sure, so they're all looking around for Jack. All of a sudden, Jack goes outside. He realizes this is the 11th hour. I have to try to do something to stop this because I'm not going to allow this to happen. Jonathan is in a corner getting ready to take the shot just out of viewpoint of the Secret Service. And Jack stands in between the Secret Service member Hayes and himself. And then he realizes, well, I have to do something here. I'm not going to go over near Jonathan, be less inconspicuous, and, let him take the shot. So he does a brilliant thing, in my opinion. He tries to go for Hayes' gun. Hayes yells out gun, tackles Jack to the ground, and then all the other service members go. Jonathan gets the hell out of there as quick as spit. And, it's essentially how the episode ends with him screaming into the earpiece that fell out saying, don't kill my family, don't kill my family. And then the whole thing with Terry and Kim, that tension, and then, Jamie makes the call to Gaines, and Gaines' close-up shot, and just how they built the tension of the split screen of Jack, his family, and him just watching the screen and everything on TV, and then saying, no, keep the family alive, and then it just keeps going forward with them getting taken back into their cell, barn place, and then Jack being arrested by Secret Service. So, very, very well done. Jarek, anything more to add to favorite scenes or stuff you want to talk about?
Well, and what I love about them sneaking the Megatron in the briefcase is that it reminds me of an old movie. If any of you have ever heard of this, give us a little bit of a shout out in the comment section, called Day of the Jackal. Actually based on real historical events and a real historical assassin. And a damn fucking good one. And if I remember, there was a scene where, he smuggles his nice little assassin piece in a briefcase. Allegedly, I believe Oswald even did the same thing with his rifle. It's actually quite a common practice. I mean, really not that hard to find a piece that you can take apart, smuggle through various means, and then reassemble later. It's kind of obvious it happens a lot.
Yep.
When and if they ever announce it, Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's kind of
and it's funny how you mentioned that, because going to characters. Again, a well-acted and great show. Again, I'm going to give it to Kiefer Sutherland, as always. His performance as Jack Bauer is always spot on, always good, and especially in this one, it was good. His desperation to Gaines, trying to figure a way out of the situation. Him wondering what he's going to do the entire time. Because there's one time where he tries to stop Jonathan, and, he's like, put it away, someone could get hurt. And just him falter, but then put it away because he knew he couldn't do it right then and there. So I mean, it's just Kiefer Sutherland. You're going to be a legend. I have to give it also to Leslie Hope and Alicia Cuthbert. Their acting in this was really good. For the peril, their near death scene, it really put you on edge and cared for them and wondering what was going to happen. Michael Massey, Ira Gaines. Great performance from him too. Just his tension, making sure this goes off the chain well, and when it doesn't, when he loses it, and his whole tension in the thought scene, and just the camera close up when he was thinking, should he kill the Bowers or not, was just so well done. I have to also give it to Carino. These are probably the three people I'll give it to the most. Carino Arroyave, who played Jamie Farrell. Sarah Clark, Nina Myers, and I know he's here too. I know he's further down, maybe he's up more. Let me see where are you? Oh, there he is. Yeah, Carl. I know his name, Carlos Bernard, Tony Almeida. When they get Jamie in that whole interrogation scene with all three people. Well done, and the whole good cop, bad cop persona, but then when they had to ramp it up because they know they're racing against the clock, it was good. Jamie breaking down, know that she's, in trouble, but then she's trying to find a way out of it because she doesn't want to go to prison for life or be counted as a traitor and executed. Just so well done for all those characters and everything they had going forward. Jarek, how about you?
Well, my number one's going to be Leslie Hope as Terry Bauer because, man, she's a very underrated actor just for this one alone. Mm-hmm. Also, let's see, what was her name? Oh, Karina
Ariave, Jamie.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to say you're going to be seeing more of this girl, but keep an eye on her. She is she's a piece of work.
Mm-hmm.
And she's only going to get better or worse than your interpretation from here.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I have to give it to Mr. Kiefer Sutherland because he isn't going to be a legend. He is one.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I'm going to do another Let's Play of Fallout 4, and I'm looking for that Jack Bauer mod.
Oh, yeah, you keep bringing that up. And, well, I mean, hey, those are all great actors and characters, too. And they gave great performances.
And hey,
what's
Boku,
up?
try the glove on. You're going to love this. I got
Okay.
this just for the review because of what type it is.
What is this supposed to be, O.J. Simpson or something?
No, this is, like those lambskin rider gloves?
Oh, yeah.
The ones that the assassins always use in the movies?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that even feels nice, so yeah.
I mean, I was able to find this for like $10.
Well, hey, there you go. And, so, I mean, that's an interesting little tidbit there as well. And, overall, I have to say, great episode. And from here, it's just going to escalate and get bigger. And, we're going to try to figure out how many more pieces to this puzzle fit because, as you guys have seen, if you've not seen the show, I know we've given away some spoilers here or there, but for those of you who may have not have seen the spoilers or however long you watch our videos for, I will say, you'll know why Ira Gaines is so irate and wanting to just go off without a hitch, because is he the lead guy or are strings being pulled elsewhere? So, yes, indeed. Jarek, how about you? Final thoughts?
I kind of been meaning to ask you this, Boku. Which season is like overall your favorite?
Oh, if we wanted to go to that one, well, since you brought it up, I have several, but I will say a personal favorite of mine has. I don't think this one's my top favorite. If you want to know my top favorite, I don't know why, I've always liked 2 a lot. 2 was really good, and season 6 and 7 are also really good. I mean, 8 was fantastic. I mean, see, it's really hard because they're all good in their own way, but I have to say 2, but 1 has always had a great place in my heart for the guest stars of season 1 and just the story of it and how they bring it all together and make it a real personal story in that sense. But yeah, I mean, I'd have to say 2, and then 1 would be always my second favorite, as I call my Dark Horse personal favorite.
Which was the one with like that Nixon, that guy they were like making like Nixon?
Oh, that's season 5. Well, season 4 and 5. Since it comes at the end of season 4 and 5 is the whole president.
Because that one's my favorite.
No, that's probably one of the best endings in all of the seasons of 24. I will say some of the other ones are real good too. Like 8's threw me for a loop. That was like that, and 6's was really good too. Not only because of Jack Bauer, but because of who becomes the acting president. Who I know they try to set up in the show like he's an anti-hero or villain, but I actually like how. And yeah, as a spoiler warning to you guys who don't want to have the character reveal, President Daniels, who's played by Powers Booth, or in 6 when he's still Vice President Daniels, he actually becomes my second favorite acting president in this show because they make him like the villainous guy where he was doing deals with backroom people and stuff like that. And I know that's not 100% correct or good to do, but I will also say everybody again has done it. And also, I don't know why that just flew off right now. Everybody has done it, but I will also say that, he's humbled by the position as president. He didn't take it lightly when he had it. Because I like, there's Cherry Jones who's like, and I don't mean to use it like this because everybody called Cherry Jones out and looking like this. She looks like Hillary Clinton as if Hillary Clinton became president. But I will say that he tells Cherry Jones, who I think is Senator Taylor at the time, he tells Senator Taylor, you may think you have all the answers, but once you get in this chair, things change you. So you let me know what you think about all your policies and stuff once you've had a chance to sit in this chair. And that line is like, that's how every president should fucking be, because you think you know how it's gonna be. No, when you have an entire country at your fingertips.
You know that reminds me of that. That reminds me of like that one. The idea of it reminds me of like that one scene in that episode of DC Follies where like the puppet for Dan Quayle is talking to, I think it's Henry Kissinger. He's like, so if Georgie dies, does that mean I get to be the president? He's like, no, actually that would be the attorney general right after him. It's like, okay, what if I get rid of her? And it's like, well, then it's like, so if I get all 12 of them in a car on a cliff and something happens, it's like, why are you asking me this, Mr. Quayle? I mean, it's a funny thing, but, there seem to be a lot of people who don't realize how many people are first in line ahead of the vice president.
Yeah. Well, and again, season 6 actually tries to bring that up too, and again, 24 really, I know some people were disheartened by it because of how spot on some of the political processes, but that's what I liked about it, because a lot of the stuff they do in 24 is actually what's going on now, and how you can do good things, but you can get lost in the shuffle for power, greed, or maybe you think you're doing good things, like not President Daniels, but President Logan thought he was doing, but at the same time, how far he let things go just to get what he wanted. Yeah, and all the justification that he tries to give.
And it reminds me, because I remember when we watched that scene, you said, like, man, that kind of reminds me of, like, how Johnson got in, and, like, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, that'll be in season 4 when me and Davis are watching season 4. There's that moment that's going to happen, and he'll probably be thrown for a loop like that too, and it'll be interesting to see what my friend Davis thinks about, season 4 when we get to that point, and what he's going to think of overall season 5, because that's where stuff's really going to hit the fan. And, see, that's what I'm saying. It's hard to pick a real, because even, like I said, rewatching season 3 recently, since I rewatched the entire show, season 3 has got a lot of great moments too, and, 24 overall is just a great show. It's an epic show, and I absolutely love it. And this is why we're doing these reviews and episode by episode to 24, because it's a show I hope you guys will all get into and see. And I know it's been being searched a lot on YouTube. I see how it's searched a lot when we put these videos up. So hey, power to you for who know about it. But I'm sorry for that little side tangent from both of us, but that's actually a good question to pose. And probably bring it up again for both of us when we get to the end of 24, and we'll talk about, like, maybe in a thing of what we liked, of what our favorite season is and why, or what our favorite moment is in 24 and why. But until then, this is 012 Boku, and
this is Mr. Jackass tossing the nuclear football, as it were.
And
we'll get to that. Football in high school.
And we will get to that in the show, because that is also brought up in the show as well. So until then, guys, 012 Boku and Jarek with his nuclear football, deuces.